There we go. Yeah, for some reason the mic wasn't... Well, I didn't change the microphone input settings last time, so I don't know what the fuck happened there. Very professional. Yes, feels like an eternity since I've last done a stream, but it's only been a couple of weeks because last weekend I was away, so for an event in the UK, so I couldn't possibly do that without my computer stuff. So yeah, thought I'd try something a little bit different. I did tease, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, that I was going to be playing a different game, like a specific game in particular, but no, instead I decided to, maybe the next few streams on the Saturday, every Saturday I'm gonna play something a bit different, maybe do a live review, or I don't know, whatever pops into my head really. So yeah, I'm not sure if the volume of this game is loud enough or what have you. See how it goes. I was tempted to do like another edited video similar to my Hearthstone videos, but you know, those take a lot of time, and you know, can sound maybe too scripted at times, and I just wanted to sort of vent out my honest thoughts and opinions on this game I've been playing for, I don't know how long I've been playing it, a little while now. Might have been a couple of months ago, because I started playing it when the Stellar Blade and near events were happening at about the same time, so it's been about a couple of months, you know, quite regularly actually, but then after that, a little while later, kind of decided to take a step back, you know, delete the app, and take a couple weeks off from playing it, and just start playing it again today. Although chances are I'm not going to be playing it for very often, maybe once every few days. Maybe it's burnout, or maybe I just, I don't know, just not finding it very entertaining anymore, but I'll get on to why a little later on. So yeah, alright, so without further ado, let's just get straight to it. Just a general summary of what this game actually is. It's a free-to-play mobile game. Well, it's available on mobile and it's also available on PC. The version I'm playing is on PC. Oh, and also I apologise if I sound wet and nasally, even more so than usual. I've got a bit of a cold, so almost there. So should be gone by the beginning of next week. So as I said, I apologise if I sound a bit stuffed up. That's why, due to a sore throat and stuff. All it takes is one bad night's of bad sleep, and all of a sudden you got, you know, cold. So I don't know, maybe it's weather. I don't really know. So yeah, about this is a game called Goddess of Victory Nikke, or Nikke Goddess of Victory, whichever way you want to say it. And it's a free-to-play game where you are play as a sort of a commander with no real. Well, I don't think you hardly ever see him in the game except for like, you know, a couple of collectibles, or you know what the commander actually looks like. Generic, you know, protagonist sort of hairstyle and what have you. And he works for an organization where well, it takes place in a post-apocalyptic world, and humans are like at the brink of extinction or something, and so they've kind of went underground or something, or they're like below the surface of the earth, which has now been taken over by these alien-like creatures called raptures, and humanity has found a way to defend against the raptures by developing these sort of cyborgs called Nikkes. I say cyborgs because they're kind of like machines with human brains. Maybe that's a spoiler, I don't know. Don't worry, I haven't played through a lot of the story yet. I'm about 17 or 18, so yeah, 16 chapters in, near the end of chapter 16. I'll get more into the story and why I think the campaign and the story mode has its ups and downs. But that's the gist of the story, you know. Attractive, mostly female looking anyway, cyborgs protecting the humans and trying to wipe out the raptures on the surface so that humanity can sort of recolonize the planet, you know, sort of take back their planet, you know, really against these aliens. There's all sorts of bits of other stuff up in the story, like for example, there's these sort of mineral there's like when a Nikke gets corrupted, they have to either have their minds erased or, you know, a bit where I'm at the story now. They've found some sort of mineral material that can, little nano-organism or something, that, or nano-robot, or even that can, you know, stop, you know, change how corrupted Nikkes are dealt with forever, you know, not needing to destroy them or wipe the memories entirely. The main objective for the first, I'd say 15-14 chapters is to, well, I don't want to spoil it too much, but all I'll say is that after about 14 to 15 chapters, the story kind of feels a bit like filler, like you kind of have less of a goal to succeed. I'll probably get more into the story there, but that's the general gist of the story. Sounds a lot like, you know, 2B Nier Automata. In fact, there was a collab event done, I think, a couple times. As you can see, I've got the wallpaper for the 2B Nier Automata sort of event collaboration thing that you only got from completing X amount of missions in the event mode. That was a while ago, though. They do hold collab events like these. They did 2B, the Nier Automata. They did Stellar Blade, which I think was made by the same developers or publishers as this game, so it made sense. Some interesting ones like Neon Genesis Evangelion. They got a few characters from that in this game as a sort of special guests. They also did, was it ReZero? Yeah, ReZero. So it's not like this is some obscure game. Quite some big franchises and anime series have, you know, appeared in this game. And this game came out, I think, like early 2020, so sort of at about the time when COVID was still kind of a problem. I mean, it still is, but, you know, we're more aware of, like, the risks, and, you know, COVID is not as, you know, publicly documented as it used to be. Like, for example, you do hear it occasionally on the news, but nowhere near as much as you did in the early 2020s, so... And this game's been around, getting support and updates and that since. And before I get to the meat and bones of the like actual gameplay of the game, I want to go through some of the menu options and stuff. So when you go through this, you can assign Nikkes to your sort of what's basically like a mini gallery in the menu screen. I think you could do. I can't remember how you do that. I think it's lobby. Yeah, you could assign a Nikke to the gallery, so you can see them and hear some of their dialogue from the main menu. But only the ones you have obtained or recruited. So these are the ones I have at the moment. Not that many. I've said the title already, but it's on the title of this stream anyway. But I'm a free-to-play player. I have been for like 99.9% of these kind of games. No game like this has made me go, wow, I got to fork out hundreds and hundreds of pounds on this thing. Because I know if I do that, it could lead to a vicious spiral of, you know, constant microtransaction after microtransaction, and I end up destitute, and I'm almost destitute essays. I'm just joking about that. Let's start with the profile. You create your profile. It doesn't run off Steam or any other popular client like that. It runs on its own client, so you have to download the game from like the website or something and sign in with your own sign in. So kind of weird, since there are a couple other games like this that are on Steam and stuff. That would have been a bit more convenient, but whatever. So nothing like achievements. You can't really connect with your friends via Steam unless they're in this game as well. You know what I mean? You customize the banner and the profile picture. You unlock some of these by simply obtaining the character or by an event or something, I don't know. That's certainly the case with avatar frames. You could change them to whatever you want. You obtain... I haven't got many of them because, I don't know, there's something to do with events or something as well. But for the character pictures, you can only like pick from what the Nikkes you've recruited. Yep, there's ID if you want to... Oh no, enemy's a friend or something, I don't know. Unions, I'll talk more about that in a moment. You can choose to representative squad. So it doesn't have to be your strongest team or anything, you just pick the ones you like and put them on the profile. Gives you some statistics, show off your frames, how far into the campaign, the levels of your outposts, which I'll go into as well later. You customize this little sort of title. I've only got 2, New Face and this Over Horizon, which was an event that sorry, I'm just checking something, there you go. Which was an event which took place not that long ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, something like that. So they're not the easiest to get for a free-to-play player. The ability to customize banners is surprisingly quite customizable. You could choose the basic backgrounds. I've got a couple of premium ones, but most of them are kind of, you're stuck with the blues and the browns and all that. And they're all based on rarity as well, so I got one like super ultra mega rare or whatever. And you could lock stickers. There are multiple ways to do this. You can get these profile pages or something from the store, and then you get enough to pull one of these stickers, or by events. So you could also add some of your Nikkes into the, well, one of the Nikkes you have onto the banner as well. And you can add up to 10. So yeah, you could enlarge them, you can move them around, you can rotate them, you can make them bigger or smaller, you could delete them if you don't like them. And the way they're layered is based on the order they are on. They're on the left sort of layer tab there. So surprisingly not bad, actually. No, I'm fine with as is. So that's the profile. Not much else to say really about that, I don't think. Oh, it shows you command level, which not a huge, not overly important. You get like gems for, well, go into gems later, but you get gems for completed tasks, and they're like the premium currency or something. Little banner showing you the events that are taking place and the particular pickups. Sort of limited time recruit pools. You get missions, which are side objectives where you can earn little gifts for your Nikkes. I'll get into that as well later. There's so much to talk about with this game, so I'm not sure how long this review will take. Got plenty of time though. You could talk to your Nikkes when you recruit them for the first time. You get a lot of, you could talk to them, like one of the most recent Nikkes I got was Trini. So sort of introverted tech girl. You even click their images to get a little message of, you know, yeah, just by that line alone, she's an introvert. So you occasionally get these options to, you know, answer the way you want to. And yeah, it's just a matter of clicking through the messages, and just you get these options, multiple choice options. I'm not sure how much they influence the conversation. I imagine it's a case of, okay, it changes one sentence and that's it, the rest of the dialogue is fine. So it's not a bad way of getting an idea of these characters' personalities. And the characters themselves can feel a bit one-dimensional at times. They have like one particular, or even two particular, you know, strong traits, and then not much else. There's one in particular that I use very often, I have in my team very often, whose only character is they sweat all the time, and that's pretty much it. Can be a bit dipsy in that, but that's the main character trait there. Always hot, and so they have to keep like eating ice pops and trying to keep cool with a fan or something. Fogwang, unfortunate name. And when you interact with them, you increase their bonds. They gain like bond experience, and when they get enough bond experience, they level up, and when they level up, their stats increase, and you gain access to these sort of visual novel side episodes where you participate in a side quest with them, and you which is basically a visual novel where you complete enough of those and you get some gems. So there's those, quite a few of those. Some pop up when you get far enough into a story or something, but a lot of the time it's just Nikke introducing themselves when you recruit them for the first time in that. There's also group chats where multiple Nikkes will talk to you. So the characters are comprised of the three main characters really, Neon, Anis, and Rappy. Yeah, again, they have three distinct personalities. You know, Neon's the gun nerd, Anis is sort of outgoing, sort of tomboyish, and Rappy's kind of like the tsundere kind of thing, very disciplined, sort of soldier type. So you kind of scroll through those if you want to. A lot of those don't really, they're just for like, I don't know, exposition and just to understand what each character's like via text. As said, mostly optional really, as you can see. Yeah, it kind of ends sometimes with not much else. So there's that little, I guess, as a feature. Yeah, this event tab, which shows you what all the events and stuff that are taking place throughout the month or something. Some of these are limited time, but others are actually, you know, evergreen. They keep going until you've completed it. So, for example, Road to Hivillain. I've already got what's it? Flare is her name? I think it's her name. Anyway, I've already got. I recruited her a while ago. Yeah, as you can see. Yeah, Flare. Drake. Why did I say Flare? It's Drake. So yes, you complete the missions to gain like this experience for this bar. Get enough and you level up. I'm still not quite there yet. Level, what was it, 53? There's a similar one called Day by Day, which is a similar thing. It's an evergreen sort of battle pass, basically. They're basically battle passes where you complete enough of these missions for the event, battle pass, whatever. And once you do, you level up and you get the indicated reward. Alice Diary, pretty much the same thing, just different rewards, different missions, blah blah blah. As I said, there are temporary ones though, like for example, there's this one, the Welcome Back one, which I got because I was absent for about 2 weeks. And come on, we'll treat you right, come back. And claim those, get a bunch of these rewards. Kind of incentivizing you to stay with the game after such a gap, so... 12 hours, that's pretty good, that'd be coming handy. I'll talk about those crates, these boxes, these cases rather, later. The hours is quite important as well when it comes to cases, so yeah. Get more of these. Each day resets, in my country it's 9 PM, every 9 PM it resets, so not all the progress, but you know, it moves on to the next day, so yeah, so that's that. There were solo raids where well, there's not much to say about that because it's not really working at the moment. It hasn't been renewed. So yeah, being a free-to-play player, free-to-play game, there's going to be gacha system. In fact, it says gacha there, right there, for yourself. And every now and then they'll have these gachas, special gacha sort of events. And for this one, in this case, it's sort of a summer outfit Rappy. Yeah, you can definitely tell who they're trying to appeal to. It's kind of weird because the first time I interacted with this gacha was back when the Nier Automata event was going on, and they were promoting a version of 2B wearing like a kimono or something. And in the shop, they did offer like free pulls, but ever since then they haven't. It requires you to pay dollars, even though that's not my country's currency, but whatever. And yeah, just like with any gacha game, you're not guaranteed to get that character. In fact, the probabilities are so low. Will be available from draw 5 onwards. So yeah, you don't even get them. You can't even get them after before then. You have to draw at least 5 in order to open the possibility of getting this character. And even then, they don't tell you what that percentage chance is. Yeah, not the display based on the basic probability. So Oh yeah, I did claim something apparently. Alright. So yeah, tier 5 prizes, about a third, just over a third each. Well, a third of getting a tier 5. About 20% for a 4th tier prize. 3rd tier prize is less than about 2% on average. And, well, 1.5 if you consider this one. Tier 2, about 0.5. And tier 1, I said, they don't tell you. Odd, because they do tell you with other sort of gacha thingamabobs. So yeah, I didn't really participate in these, so unless they're giving you free pulls. So yeah, there's that. That doesn't happen all the time, I don't think. It's sort of event based, like depending on what the event is and stuff. And 1,000 days of Nikke, because it's been around for what, about 3 years then, or close to 3 years. They're holding a special event to give you like some bonus stuff, like stickers and tickets and stuff. Tickets are pretty important for getting Nikke, so as you can see, my gallery consists of Breddy, who's my favourite. What's her name? Not Breed? Is it Breed? Yeah, Breed. The train conductor woman, she's cool. Ogwang as well, the one who is constantly melting, metaphorically. This variant of Quincy, one of the prisoners. Well, not prisoners, but, you know, the person who's been sort of, well, down the elevator further below. Their dialogue actually changes based on how much of a bond you have with them, which is a touch I didn't expect them to put in. And if you wait long enough, they'll start, you've probably seen already, they kind of just talking around and alrighty, so as I said, the event tells you what's happening. Oh yeah, the arcade. These are just basically a bunch of mini games that you can play for like bonus rewards and stuff in your spare time and stuff. Like I think one of the newer ones is Gift Factory, which is like the Christmas themed event. So there's another one that's in an event at the moment. So those are very basic though. So this one goes there. So just to break up the monotony, I suppose. So this is one of the mini games. There's a few of them. There's even those based on like based on the collabs, like with the Nier Automata. They have a couple of mini games which revolves around that mini game where you play as a little, you know, ship, and you got to hack the system by shooting the, you know, the targets. That little circle in the middle, you know, that mini game that was often seen, the hacking mini game in Nier Automata. Basically, it's in this game as well. It was during the Nier Automata event. One of the biggest problems with these kind of events, these seasonal events, I'll get into it later, but it has something to do with the theming. So yeah, a lot of minigames are like that, you know, just little pastimes really to break up the monotony of doing the same kind of level over and over again, which is something that happens a fair amount. I won't go through all those, but you get the idea. That's just a little extra. Go to your mail to reclaim some of the rewards based on like your rankings and arena and stuff. Notifications, you get these other passes here, mission passes. Complete some missions to unlock these rewards as you level up. You can add or remove friends. You can send and receive hearts, and these hearts are used to recruit Nikkes, and not much else. I don't think that's about it, I think. So as you can see, you complete missions to get all sorts of different resources and currencies. Be surprised how often you pop in and out of these missions every time you do something. Probably be better to just claim it all at the same time instead of just constantly popping in and out, but I don't know. You could join a union, which is like a group of players to participate in like raids and shooting ranges and you know, to beat each other's targets and what have you. And it's also used to gain currencies for a shop, as well as well, yeah, gain rewards and stuff. So it wouldn't be a gacha game without a shop though, so let's go to one of them. Well, let's go to both. Let's just go one at a time. So this one is the cash shop, which is all the items that require cash payments to purchase, real life cash. Being a free-to-play player, I have not spent a single penny, so this store is almost worthless, except for when you claim your free gems, weekly and monthly gems every now and then. As I said, most of these are kind of pointless to me because I don't intend to spend real money for like actual gems. You could obviously like spend money to get gems instead of just the game, you know, having straightforward, you know, straight to account transactions. You have to buy the currency to buy the item. You can't just do what Hearthstone used to do and just buy them straight off your account with actual money. Or like, I think Microsoft did that as well at one point, you know, just allow you to spend it straight from your account rather than just having to buy a premium currency, then buy it with that premium currency. And for some reason there's a difference between free gems and paid gems. There are some things that were only required there's some transactions that require you to have paid gems, not free gems, even though they look very similar, just with the text free and paid. Which is odd. I'll go into detail shortly when I go to recruit some Nikkes. Then there's a general shop, which you can use all your other currencies, free currencies and stuff, to purchase stuff. So I'm just checking something one more time. Bear with me a second. So yeah, as I said, this is the general shop, and there we go. And what this is a place where you can purchase items and resources and stuff with the multiple currencies in this game. So by standard, there's like just like with the paid, the cash shop, you can redeem a small amount of credit for no purchase whatsoever. They're so small there, they don't really have much of an impact on, like, you know, anything. You could buy stuff with gems that you earn by playing the game for free, or you could do purchase them with paid gems. As I said, there are some items that are weird where you could pay them with paid gems but not with free gems. So if you've stockpiled gems like I have, then, but because they're free, you won't be able to use them for paid recruits, for example. This is very helpful, so I might just buy that with the gems. Pretty much everything except for the equipment or the gifts, really. Just focus on getting these. I learned the hard way that spending any of the currencies on stuff like this profile custom pack, which is an item where if you get enough of those, you can redeem a profile picture or sticker or something. Kind of pointless, really, for me anyway, because I've got plenty of those and I'm fine with the design of my current banner. So most of the time you'll be using these currencies to get either these molds, these for upgrading your character's abilities, maybe a spare body if you have enough, or cases. Everything else is kind of meh, you can probably be fine without. And all these are batteries for your cubes, which are ways of upgrading your characters and giving them more skills and stuff. Righty. Yeah, it's gonna be a while before I have enough to get any of these anyway. Not like you need them, you get epic gear not too long into the game, so... let's see. Yeah, these are used for upgrading each character's like 3 skills, and these are used to upgrade them, so to make them more powerful and stuff. So we're playing those. I might just... Well, there's only one for each, so I'll just buy Which one do I need more of? That one. Just do that. I think this one just allows you to choose, but it's more expensive, so whenever I run out of and these are another type of currency, these gold tickets and these black tickets, but these are for getting spare bodies and characters, but good luck getting enough for those. You get one of either of them every time you recruit a Nikke, regardless of whether you've had them on before or not, or it's a brand new Nikke. You always get a ticket whenever you recruit Nikke, regardless. And a recycling shop which has these currencies which are obtained. Trying to remember where you get them from. Some sort of other mode. And these are used for getting, like, yeah, I said, just go for cases if you can. I'll just get one of these. And go back here, I'm gonna just buy some more of these with the gems I got for free. I don't have a lot of cash, so I'm gonna keep as is. I'll go into more detail about what these inventory items do. Actually, I'll do that right now. I'll go through this. Yeah, I said you're gonna be doing this. I might just do that in the end. Go here to go to your missions. You get the experience to gain access to these boxes. They give you rewards like cores and these manuals, which as said are used for upgrading skills. There's a daily, weekly, main, and challenge ones. Anywho, so I think I covered most of the stuff on the main menu. You could go to the options to tweak some settings, like aim assist, display, whether it shows cutscenes every time, some convenience display, all that boring stuff really. There's about the same amount of options in the phone version as well, the mobile version as well, which was kind of surprising, but a little bit more on PC anyway. One thing that really annoys me though is the audio settings, because if you want to change the audio language, you can't just click the language you want. You have to download. I think that's what I have to do. Oh, hang on. Yeah, see, every time you want to change the language to like Japanese to English, like what I'm doing now, you have to download like 2 gigabytes worth of data just to do so. And bear in mind, you have to do this. Just switch back to English. Not English, Japanese. Yeah, every time you want to switch a language, it comes to this screen where it tells you to install data. But the thing is, what I think it does, it removes the original files and then replaces it with the language you want. And you have to do this every time you want to change the language. I'm not sure if there's a workaround or am I doing it wrong, but that's what happens every time I want to change the language to, let's say, Japanese to English or vice versa. You have to wait for it to download the 2 gigabytes worth of data to switch. And you'd think that it would install both, it would keep the original data and then install the data of the other language as well. So you could just instantly switch between the two in the future, but no. I think what happens is it deletes the original data, replaces it with the new data, and if you want to go back to the original language, you have to reinstall the old data again. That's really irritating. Because sometimes you want to hear the English, sometimes you want to hear Japanese, depending on how I feel, or even Korean. And for some reason now, oh good, I was worried I was going to have to reinstall the Japanese, but no. But yeah, that's really annoying. I'm not sure how many people have talked about that, but I guess it's not too important, but it's just an inconvenience, really. And speaking of inconvenience, I heard that there was a sort of a remade version of this game called New Hope or something like that, something Hope, which is basically the Chinese version, and they have a bunch of quality of life improvements, loads better and stuff. And we don't have that version yet. I'm not sure if they're going to release that version internationally, or if we're just stuck with this version. People actually complained about it, saying Oh, why do they get the better version? And well, there's a catch though. The Chinese version is censored, so that'll upset some people who would rather have, like, you know, see characters in their original designs, in their original outfits and stuff. Some characters I even think have their proportions changed as well, like their bust size. But if it means the game is better loading and, you know, has more features and stuff, then, you know, that's a bit of a fair compromise. But yeah, from what I understand, the reason why we are not getting that version is because the newer version was made with a brand new engine from scratch or something, so it would take a lot of time and effort to add all the quality of life features into this version of the game, which is basically like try to get Super Mario World to... No, I guess it's a bit like trying to get Super Mario 64 to work on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Might be possible with enough hard work, but it's just too much effort. It's not really worth doing to get the inferior version of a better sort of iteration of the game. So maybe they'll come out in the future, I don't know, but as far as I know, that's the reason, and people got upset because they weren't as upfront about it, or didn't, you know, mention that sooner. So righty-ho, here I go. What's it going to talk about? Oh yeah, actual game. Well, might be important to talk about like some of the other... You'll be spending quite a lot of time in these sort of settings, but in the bottom of the screen. So these are all your Nikkes. You can order them by power, level, limit break, how many times you've limit braked the Nikkes, which I'll go into in a moment. Their rarity, of course. There's so much stats and qualities about each Nikke. Let's go to my favorite, Bready, for example. So there are three different rarities. There's rare, super rare, and super duper rare, or SSRs. And yeah, you got the power, HP, attack, and defense. You know how much damage they can take before they die. HP, how much health they have. Attack is how much power their weapons deal, how much damage they deal. Limit breaks. When you get a Nikke, when you get like a duplicate, it becomes a spare body, and you can use that spare body to upgrade your already existing Nikke of the same character. So for example, if I got another Bready, instead of getting two Breadies, I'll just get a spare body, which I can use to limit break the Bready I already have. When a character limit breaks, increases their level cap, their stats, indicated by the amount of times they can be limit braked, is indicated by these stars. And the glowing stars indicates like how many times you've been limit braked. So I can limit break a super rare SSR up to 3 times. SRs, which are indicated by purple, can only be limit braked twice, whilst rares can't even be limit broken at all. Which is annoying because you'll get the rares very often. So you're not getting as much value from getting duplicates if they're rares. At least with super rares and SSRs, you can, when you get a duplicate, you can use them to power up the ones you already have, whilst with rares, that's just not an option. So you can't limit break at all. You can't even see any stars there. That means the character can be limit broken, and it's even grayed out there. See, let's go back to my favorite again. So yeah, this is the affection, which I'll go into later. You can view the model. If they have other costumes, it'll be shown here, and you can look through them. So you don't even have to recruit them to look at these costumes. You can look at them anytime. You can practice shooting with these characters. You know, in this case, Freddy has a sniper. Each character has, well, there are different types of weapons characters use. They're stuck with one, so Freddy's stuck with a sniper, which is alright. You've got 3D models of these characters, which appear in the maps and the campaign and other modes. They have their own animations and stuff you can look through as well. Kind of adorable. as I said, if they have extra costumes for the character, they'll appear here, and you can even go through a range of different voice lines if you want to. Then there's, well, it's not shown here because this character's synchronized, but let's go to, there we go. There's an upgrade screen where you can level up your characters, which requires resources like the credits and these battle data. Upgrading the characters increases their stats and stuff. Tells you what squad they belong to. Look at those if you want to. Other members of the team. Let's go back to Freddy again. There's a like Pokemon system where there's like 5 different elements, and some elements are strong against others. Like I think water's strong against fire, and electric's good. Ground's good against electric, or what have you. Tells you what weapon they have. So there's sniper rifles. Some characters use submachine guns. Some use rocket launchers. Some use shotguns, etc. Recycling room tells you what the section of the recycling room. Well, I'll show you later. Same here. Tells you it's getting buff from a certain section of the recycling room. So it belongs to that particular faction or something. And yeah, it tells you which faction they belong to as well. Well, at least it does when you select them. Yeah, details. Yeah, in fact, it tells you about all the stuff there. Need a reminder. Equipment, so for the head, torso, arms and legs. There's a quick equip option, but there's no gear to equip. You can unequip if you want to. Yeah, it tells you what faction. So this one, this Nikke's from Tetra. There's like 4 different factions. There's Missilis, there's Missilis, however you pronounce it, and one other I can't remember. Each character has 3 different skills, 2 skills and a burst skill, which is like their signature finisher sort of move. You can level them up with these cards I mentioned earlier, those code manuals. They'll increase stuff like, you know, the duration of a buff or something, or the potency of the buff, etc. These cubes you'll unlock quite a bit later out in the story, where you can play these little puzzle levels to get these cubes. You give the cubes to them and they get sort of these buffs as well, so quite a few different mechanics here. Could be a bit overwhelming. And a little later on you also gain the ability to give Nikke a little figurine of yourself, the commander, to give them yet again even more buffs and stuff, and you can combine them to make better figurines, and some characters only take certain figurines, etc. So yeah, that said, there's quite a lot of stuff in this to remember and to focus on and to upgrade and that. And the reason why this is saying synchronize instead of level up is because of the synchro device, which I'll talk about momentarily. You can have up to 5 Nikkes in your squad. They even have like a Nikkepedia, which is the Wikipedia for all the Nikkes in the game. You can filter them by like the ones you have, the ones you don't. Costumes. They go to a little bit of a mini biography of the character, who they're voiced by. Look at the stats at a glance. And yeah, so good that you don't have to necessarily recruit the characters to get an idea on who they are, what they're good at, what they're bad at, you know, the personalities and stuff. And there are so many of these characters to obtain, so good luck trying to get every single one, unless you've been playing. Oh yeah, and also Chainsaw Man for some reason was a special event in this game. Denji's not even in it at all, but well, this is a character. Sorry, this is a game that focuses on female characters, or those that look female, so of course Makima and Power somewhere there. Yeah, there. And the 2B, A2. I said you can filter it by all sorts of things, the weapon they use, which faction they belong to, etc. So that's that. As I said, you can have up to only 5 Nikkes in your squad at a time. Use the auto to change them here and there. These are temporary, sort of like trial Nikkes, which have been, as you see, they're like best stats possible. But you only get to use them up to 3 times a day each. So this is my team I've been using most regularly because they're the strongest I have so far. So yeah, I haven't been playing as much as a lot of people have, but that's the team. Managed to get Alice limit broken twice, which is a miracle. Well, made easier with one of the recruit sections, so that's to return to the lobby. Don't know why I said it that way. Whatever. This year in inventory, this will also be a pretty important place to activate these molds, which allow you to pull a recruit and Nikke right off the bat. Some are faction specific, and that will take you forever because you only get like 1 mold per level completed on the that faction's ladder in the arc, which I'll talk about soon. This is where you get some of the new. As said, you have to get enough of these items to fill up this bar and then redeem it, and it's random, of course. I've almost got enough to get this high quality mold, which gives me an SR better Nikke. These crit cut cases will be very important because these are used to give you resources to upgrade your Nikkes and stuff and help with your campaign progress. The hours indicates, you know, you'll get this amount of core dusts, which is equivalent to 12 hours of play or something like that. So the more hours, the better, really, because it gives you 12 hours worth of the credits. And the amount of credits you get per hour is based on your outpost level. The higher the outpost level, the more of that currency, whatever it is, you get. So usually it's best to just wait until you've got a very high outpost level and then using these to get the most out of them. As you can see, this credit case is has 12 hours on it, which means it'll give you 12 hours worth of credits. You know, the amount of credits equal to spending, you know, waiting 12 hours for the outpost level to finish. Stockpiling all these. Well, it'll make more sense as I go into the outpost. So as you can see, this 12-hour case gives you 322,000 credits. Sounds a lot, but that will go away very fast. That'll be drained very quickly. And this is an 8-hour one, and as you can see, it gives me less because it's going to give me 8 hours worth of credits instead of 12 hours of credit. So yeah, get used to seeing a lot of 1 hours and 2 hours and hardly any of the 12-hour ones. Save those, especially for like when you're very far in the story and absolutely need to level up. And you do have many ways to do so. These are used to level up your recycling room. You can get materials, like you get these tickets, which are get enough of these and you can redeem like a 10 recruit Nikke, like to recruit 10 at a time or something. Or use them one at a time to recruit Nikke. This is a currency for the arena shop. Cores are used and credit battle data is used to level up your Nikkes. Credit is just, well, free money, freemium money and stuff. Body labels, I can't remember what those do. Body label shop or something. As said, these tickets, when you get enough of these, you can exchange them for like a Nikke or a spare body of a Nikke. Any item with the present on the corner is a gift that you could give to your Nikkes, and this will increase their bond with you. Give specific gifts to specific Nikkes and they'll have more potent effects, so it will let you know which gifts are better to give, you know, compared to others for specific Nikkes. Yeah, I think I've gone through most. These are reels which you can use to open, like unlock extra events that I've already passed by and stuff. That's kind of alright. The equipment, yet again, there's like a tier system, a rarity system, so these are, the higher the tier number the better. I don't think I've only ever got 1 or 2 legendary ones, like high tier 9 ones. Most of them are rares at the moment. Good news is, even though you can't sell them, you can scrap them to be used to upgrade other equipment and such, so that's not bad. Get these little dolls to give to Nikkes to give them a little buff here and there. Now let's actually get to the biggest selling point, is actually getting the Nikkes yourself by a gacha system. These change every few weeks based on the event and stuff. I might go for the Alleg because I've got 16 of these event tickets that are only given for completing events and stuff. I definitely don't recommend using gems to get them unless you need them to, you know, fulfill the condition to draw them. Well, fortunately I've got enough of these tickets to get them without needing to spend gems, but if you didn't have enough tickets, you could use some of your gems to compensate for that and, you know, cover the costs as it were. I've learned the hard way, as I said, like, using gems for these pulls is not a good idea. You're better off using them to buy, like, cores and, you know, these other upgrade materials to power up the ones you already have, the Nikkes you already have in your team. As said earlier, for some reason, for this gacha pull, it requires paid gems instead of free gems, and the literal only difference is one's paid, has paid underneath the icon for the gems. That's confusing. Well, they might as well have just made this a different currency altogether. I mean, they're perfectly fine adding all these currencies as is, so yeah. And let's go into the probabilities. And as said, like, you get hearts by sending and receiving them by, like, clicking a button on the friends list. Get enough and you'll use them to recruit a Nikke. Yeah, the probabilities are usually so low to get an SSR. I'd say like 9 times out of 10 you'll be given Rs or SRs and no SSRs. I have been lucky occasionally by getting like one of the best Nikkes in the game, Red Hood. It was actually one of my first SSRs I ever obtained, which explains why it's sorry, she's Red Hood is a much higher level than some of the others. Well, was it at first? So get used to seeing a lot of these rares Nikkes, which are almost useless. They pale in comparison to how strong the others are. Not to say every SSR is good. I've heard Crow's not very good. There are like websites and stuff with like whole tier lists telling you which Nikkes are good and bad and which ones go together, which ones don't. Pretty much all of the SRs and Rs are bottom tier. SSRs are middle or better. One of my favourites, Reddy, is apparently like sort of mid to high tier, so that's fine. And I said Red Hood's like top tier, from what I understand. The probability chances are ridiculous, really. Like, look at this, less than 6% for each of these, and yeah, over 50% of your of the stuff you'll get is rares. 43% is SR, which isn't so bad, so still quite frequent, but you know. And a total of, is there a way to speed this up there? 4%, and that's with the bonus 2% boost for the featured Nikke of that poll section. Less than 0.1% chance of getting any of these. That's insane. This wouldn't be so bad if the ratios were similar to like trading card games, like where you get loads of commons, a few rares, and then like a handful of secret rares or something. So at least you get a bit more variety, even though you're getting the lower rarities. But the fact there's such a small pool of unique characters for the rares and the super rares means that pulling SRs and Rs gets extremely repetitive. And as I said, the fact that you can't use the rares to limit break the ones you already have makes pulling them feel less satisfying than anything else in this game. So SR's not bad because at least you can limit break, and there are a couple I quite like Mihara and Neon and stuff. And and main characters and stuff. But the fact there are so many SSRs and their chances are so small, you know, of getting any of them, it could take you an eternity just to catch up. And there aren't many ways to get them individually by choice. You know, you have to do the gacha system most of the time to get any of these characters. And hopefully I'll prove my point about how annoying it is sometimes to recruit 10 at a time and just not even see a single SSR consecutively as well. There have been times where I've, you know, recruited 10 at a time like 5 times in a row and got no SSRs whatsoever. Not even a glimpse of one, so... Well, let's see what's like this time then. I'm gonna do the leg one, because a leg, who doesn't like a leg? I have two. So, I'll admit the animation is pretty cool when you, you know, about to prepare to do it. Well, saying that, I got an SSR, so probably just the one. I don't know if there's like a pity system. Be nice if there is. Yeah, these characters usually have voices. I think it's because I tweaked with the language settings and stuff, so they're missing. Yeah, as said, get used to seeing the same few over and over again, and yeah. And they were intentionally made to be much more bland, just to make the SSRs look more appealing. At least the Minatas there, I suppose. Miata, you know, Mata. Got an SSR though. Got 2 of those, but 2 of Miharas, sorry. But so well, that shut me up. Turns out I got the best character in the from the pool. Hopefully this doesn't disprove anything I just said. Trust me, like every other time I've done something like this, like pulled a character from, like recruited Nikkes this way, didn't really get much. So this was a pleasant surprise. Maybe this is a pity system, wouldn't be surprised, but yeah. Got Ileg in her summer outfit. You get the body labels. Yep, compensation, which is used to exchange for ads for the shop to exchange for like spare bodies and other Nikkes. I don't have enough for, so that was a pleasant surprise. I didn't expect that to happen. Probably the first time that's ever happened, and probably will happen. So yeah, that was great. Okay, as I said, that shut me up. Yeah, another one I'm not sure, yeah. So you get stuff like recruiting 20 times. Don't have enough of these events anymore, these event tickets anymore, so I'm just gonna move on to this one. I actually prefer, because after a few, when you get to a certain point in the story, you go to the, you get the opportunity to create a wish list, which allows you to select the SSR Nikkes you want, and it will filter out all the ones you don't want and just leave you with the pool of SSRs, which makes pulling an SSR better, because then again you're guaranteed an SSR you want from the wish list instead of just crossing your fingers and hoping you get the one you want. As said though, this is after playing a few chapters of the story, so it takes a while to get that feature, but it's a pretty nice one nonetheless. So yeah, and as said, it does filter out all the ones you haven't put on your wish list. You can only have up to like 25 or something, and I think it's 25, wasn't it? Yeah, no, 20. You can only have 20 per. So yeah, I did not expect to get that Ileg summer outfit still. I'm still surprised by that. I've been sort of scorning and saying stuff like, oh, the pull rates are so shit, but then I get the best pull from the entire, like, from the entire range that you could get from that particular section is like crazy. She's mine. But hopefully this next one will prove me not right, but you know, as supported, gives me some more support and evidence. There's also with the coins you get, you can also use them to exchange to get one of these Nikkes that, you know, the trio Nikkes, like the ones I showed with the flags saying 3 out of 3. That's how many times you can use them a day before they reset, before you have to wait until the next day to use them again. To have them in your team again. Ooh, excuse me. So yeah, you need 100 to do that. I've done that at least once for Alice, so I can limit break her. So I'm going to recruit with the regular tickets, which are obtained more often, so here goes nothing. As I said, I do like this animation. Yeah, I thought so. So it was a lot of luck at first, because the light that shines when you do that animation thing indicates like what you get, and it shows you like what you get as well. So just R's and SR's this time. Get used to seeing this a lot. Sometimes in a row. And as said, you get like these tickets every time you recruit a Nikke, regardless of whether it's duplicate or not. And as said, body labels that you can exchange to. And if you don't have enough tickets, you can use gems as a way to cover the cost. But as said, I don't really recommend doing it that way. And I don't have enough hearts to do it. I guess you could do it individually, but I'm not sure if that's a great way of doing it. So yeah, so wow, hello Alec, nice to see you. So yeah, as said, the audio is I'm not sure whether I should download them, because I might take a short break in between, like about the halfway point of this review, just to collect myself and have a drink and stuff. Not overly important though. Yeah, it's kind of annoying, as I was saying earlier, like, you know, it kind of removed all the voices and then you have to re-download them. Annoying. Might as well tick these off to get. I might get enough to get high quality molds, enough high quality mold to recruit a Nikke. Let's go to the outpost, and there's quite a lot to say about the outpost. A lot of things to say, a lot of features. So go through one by one. So this is the map of the outpost, which you get not too far into the story campaign. You unlock this ability to navigate around the map of the outpost, which is like I guess it's like the Detroit, Michigan of this universe, you know, but you know, in a good way, I suppose. Yeah, let's go to that. So one of these features you unlock quite late, actually, is, well, quite far into the story, is Liberation, where you pick one of 3 sort of imprisoned Nikkes, because these 3 Nikkes are criminals or something, have done something bad. In my case, I picked Quincy. Then you complete these missions, which involves doing simple things like, you know, enhancing 2 Nikkes, or like here, purchase items in Call Shop 2 times, which I have done. You can reset them if you want to, but I think that requires gems, yeah. This resets every day as well, so if you clear them all, you'll get some new ones next day. You can change the liberation target if you want to, just do one at a time now, I think. It shows you how far you progress to rehabilitating them. There's also cutscenes where you talk to them, you get to know them, what they did and what they've done and what have you to end up this way. Progress takes so long. It's just a case of, oh, it's done already. It's done. Okay, fine. It'll take you a long time to do this, to rehabilitate any of them. I think Quincy's one of the higher tier ones of the three. So, the Tactical Academy. By building buildings in this map, on this map, and paying a lot of the credits, you can gain bonuses for the rest of your game. So, for example, increases the amount of cores you get, gives you 5 additional Nikke slots in the synchro device, for example, increases the amount of credits you get, increases stuff whenever you get rewards in the one of the modes, etc. Very handy but very expensive, so it might take a while to get anywhere close to the end. Not pretty far though, you just need a lot of credits, and it gets more and more expensive as time goes by, as you get further into that academy. I think you need specific Nikkes as well to do this, or just selects from a pool of the ones you have. So I'll show you what happens if I try to complete a lesson. Yeah, it won't let me study unless I have enough money and fulfill the other conditions that may be required. Yes, so you build buildings by clicking these plus symbols. Construct. I don't have any. You need the relevant plans to build a certain building. I don't think you can have more than one type of building. These buildings can be hospitals, libraries, offices and stuff like that, or even like fairgrounds. Why do you need to build them? Well, one, to open up more studies for your academy, and also to encounter special events like these ones. You have a certain amount of tickets, and then you use these tickets to participate in these basically like sort of bonus little cutscenes and stuff to get rewards. Like I think it's mainly like gifts you get from doing these, and each building has like a random event you can participate in. Next is the recycling room. Another feature that takes a while to unlock, where improving these recycling module things will increase the stats of the Nikkes they belong to. For example, there are like 3 types of Nikkes: attackers, defenders, and supporters. There we go. You need the right currency to do this. Those little sort of hexagonal things, I think they're hexagons. All defender class Nikkes will get a bonus if you level it up. All the attackers will get this buff, for example. The stats of supporters will increase as well, so I'll do that now. Yeah, I don't have enough, but yeah. When you level up, the stats of the type of Nikkes will increase. The general research just increases the HP of all Nikkes. And I could do it for the Missilis. Use these to upgrade the attack defense of all Nikkes from Missilis. And that's only Missilis as well for this module. There's one for Tetra, one for the Pilgrims and the Abnormals, which are basically the guest characters for the most part. So that's kind of handy as well. It's like if you have the resources, yeah, go ahead. Infrastructure core. Even to this day, I'm not sure how this works. I think you just got to fulfill some conditions and then you get bonuses. Like, you know, more free entries to the arena, the ability to dispatch all, increase your stamina so you could do more side quests in the outposts, stuff like that. Bulletin board is pretty good. I've got some there. This is where you send some Nikkes to... You dispatch some Nikkes to recover some of these, to gain some of these resources. Dispatch all. basically 10 Nikkes to get this after, let's say, an hour and a half of time. The rarer the items, the longer it takes. The types of items you can get, and depends on like I said, like the levels of the not recycling room, but the infrastructure core and the academy. Good for getting a nice little bonus here and there. Better if you've upgraded like your outposts facilities a bit more to get better stuff from it. You need enough Nikkes to do it though. If you don't, then you won't be able to. Fortunately, at this point though, you will a few chapters into the story, you should have enough Nikkes to do all the stuff in the bulletin board. I don't think I've talked about the synchro device yet. No, I haven't. So this one's a pretty cool feature. What it does is it basically syncs up the levels of your team to all of the Nikkes, all the other Nikkes you have. So for example, all the 5 Nikkes I don't have in the synchro device are about level 130. So all the others are level 130. Because they sync up to the lowest level Nikke not in the synchro device in your team. So as you can see in this case, my lowest level team member is 130. So all the others are 130. Which means you have to upgrade these characters' levels evenly, I think, just to get the others to level up as well. Guess this is good if you want to switch up your team a bit, or if you like playing one of those arena modes where you have to have like 3 different teams in a row for each round. 3 different teams for 3 different rounds. So yeah, that's kind of handy. Saves having to level up every single character. You start off with 5, but then you unlock more of these as you progress through the outposts leveling up system and stuff. I'm going to do that with a leg now whilst I have the chance. There we go. So yeah, kind of handy feature. The biggest and most notable option though is the command center, where you could look through all sorts of archives and cutscenes. Yep, you can look through pretty much every major cutscene in this game. The encounters, the archives with all the event stories. I've got 2, but I'm not sure which ones to pick. You don't really get many rewards from the events though. Instead what you get is most of your rewards from these events are like pictures and for your lobby or soundtracks and stuff. So one of the good things is you also unlock songs as you play the campaign and events and stuff, and you can listen to any of them. There's a lot of music in this game. And then this is also used to gain small rewards depending on how many you gained since your last claim, so that's kind of neat. There's also this side story option which you unlock a little later on, and it gives you some, well, just that, side stories off that spread out, that like take place either before or during the events of the main story. I haven't done any of them yet, even though I have the opportunity to do so. Maybe I'll do 1 or 2 in a moment. Lost relics. Throughout the campaign, you'll gain these little sort of journals and, diary entries within the campaign, adding exposition and, lore to the story. Yeah, again, get any new ones, get enough of them, you claim to get some gems or something. But I think the one feature that you'll want to check out is the advice option, where you could go to each of your Nikkes and talk to them. A little later on you gain your ability to quick advise. I think this is dependent on your bond level or something, or you unlock it as you get closer to the campaign, further into the campaign. I think most of them start off at with a cap of rank 10, but they can increase as you limit break them, so I think that's how it works. So I'll try advising Alice the usual way. She'll have plenty of feasting on in her dreams. If she gets hungry, she'll wake up. Yeah, she's, well, if you can't tell by her name, she's obsessed with like fantasy and, you know, Alice in Wonderland. She's not a bad character though. I like Alice. So yeah, so most of the time I do quick advise, even though it's probably better to just advise so you get more information about who the characters are and stuff. You do this up to, I think it's at first it's up to 5, but that increases as you level up your facilities and outposts. That's max because I think I need to limit break the Red Hood to unlock the rest of the levels. So this is the bottom level. This increases as you talk to them via the advice option, or completing this visual novel style like side quests with the characters, which gives you gems. Not many, but you know, whatever. And gifts, which are from your inventory, and give them gifts and it increases their bond as well. Some gifts are better than others, so for each Nikke, it will indicate this with a heart or something, I can't remember. It's been a while since I've given any of them a gift, it's been 2 weeks. Yeah, you can still give the gifts to them, but they just won't be as potent, as they won't be as effective as Start to the newer leg. Yeah, some cutscenes, like in the campaign and some events, they have full voice acting, whilst quite a few of the other optional stuff like these will not have voice acting at all. There are options to hide the text if you want to, well, at the top of the screen. Have it automatically scroll, get to look at a log of all the dialogue. And if it's fully voice acted, you can even click like a speaker on the side of it to listen to the dialogue. Or skip the whole thing entirely if you want to. Okay. You unlock more of these episodes by increasing their bond. I think it's every 3 levels or something like that. And increasing their bond level also increases their stats, so that's a good practical use of doing it as well, talking to them. People probably led much safer lives back then. Oh, she's smiling, that's something different. Yeah, as you can see, when you rank, that increases their stats. And I said, I think it's every 3 or 4 levels. Another box below it, you know, some information below the stats will tell you, oh, another episode has been unlocked of this chain of episodes. So this is for every character as well. Well, every SSR and SR. I don't think none of the rares do. They're not important enough, apparently. So there's that. Also worth noting, some characters, even though they're wearing a different costume and stuff, well, they're probably like different versions of the character from a different time period, so they're their own unique character. So for example, this leg is different from the regular leg, even though there's not much of a difference in terms of age or like what happens, you know, event-wise. So, yeah, that's Outpost in a nutshell, really. I can't think of anything else. Oh, yes, of course, the biggest feature, the most important feature, the Outpost defense. This increases every 5 battles you complete in a campaign, and the level increases. The increased level also increases the amount of rewards you get from claiming from this Outpost defense. This increases over real-world time. You have 24 hours to claim it. If you don't claim it within 24 hours, then this excessive accumulation bar increases. And when this gets too high, the rewards you get actually decreases. So that incentivizes you to claim it once every 24 hours if you want to get the most rewards. But of course, you get the biggest benefit if you let that build over time. But there's nothing stopping you from claiming it every, I don't know, few minutes or so. There's also Wipeout, which gives you 12 hours worth, no, 2 hours worth of rewards. Based on, like, you know, the level of your outpost. The higher level outpost, the more you'll get per 2 hours or something, whatever, per hour. You get one free Wipeout, but then you have to use gems to wipe out up to 10 more times a day. So as I said, the amount of rewards you get per for waiting for this outpost defense to accumulate, you'll get more as you level up your outpost by, as I said, like winning battles, clearing, you know, winning battles in the campaign mode. So I'll claim that now. So it's leveled up. The commander upgrade, I said, doesn't matter as much since all it does is give you gems every now and then. Just shows up on your profile for bragging rights, I don't know. But so yeah, as you can see, yeah, battle timer, when it reaches, I think it's 24 hours, it's maxed out and you got to claim it within like maybe another 12 hours or something, otherwise, after that, otherwise it goes down. The amount of rewards you get from this goes down. But the amount you get over time increases as your level of the outpost increases, so in a way, it's absolutely best to play as much of the campaign as possible, so you can increase the amount of rewards you get from the outpost as quickly as possible, get more value from it over time. So there's that. Got a few of those, claim those. It's surprising how quickly some of these resources drain, especially when you hit... I heard about the 160 level sort of wall, where when you get to 160 it's almost impossible to break through, metaphorically speaking, unless you pay for like the resources to do so. Fortunately, I'm not quite at that point yet. I'm about 130, but even then I noticed that credits and bits and stuff like that, well, not bits, data bits, drains very quickly. Got some more hearts. As said, I probably won't get enough to recruit via the hearts with my hearts. No chance. I am partially tempted to recruit again. I might get more tickets though before I do that. Yeah, get enough of these profile thingies. You can use that to redeem some of these bonus little decorative stuff. So that's more like the interface parts of the game and how the sort of general feel of the menus and the facilities, and you know, that's one of the bonus events. So yeah, every now and then I'll do at least special events. This one is Boom the Ghost, which is about them going to a ship called the Utopia and it's haunted, well, quote unquote. I don't think I'll be able to complete all the hard missions before the event ends in about 4 days. Each event has its own like map. You can play through the story, complete like a challenge mode where you fight a boss and get some rewards, usually high quality molds. Around the map you can find these sparkly little dots on the floor. Collect them for like a currency or sound to unlock songs in your sort of library, as it were, from the outpost as shown earlier. Quite a few of these events have an exclusive minigame which may be available in the future in the arcade option in the main menu. This minigame is quite fun, even though it is like just a basic rip-off of that melon game, that fruit drop game, whatever it's called. You know which one I mean when you look at it. I mean, just look at it. See, yeah, it's basically that that fruit dropping minigame from like a few years ago. Only it has a Rappy in a shirt and bikini, which something. You do get like stuff like gems and other things for playing these minigames, so it's not like completely separate from your experience of the game. The size of the board increases as you complete missions and level up your vacuum trap, Ghostbuster, whatever it is, ghost busting trap. Obviously not called that in this game for copyright reasons. But this basically is like a leg being a Ghostbuster on a ship, whilst wearing some rather revealing clothing, rather revealing outfit. Yeah, I could just spend the rest of this stream playing this really, because it's a fun little minigame. As I said, even though it's not entirely original, it's a basic clone of a already existing popular puzzle game from like the early 2020s, whenever it was. So I might just exit that and get to the actual game this time. Yeah, claim for getting a score, and the dust box increases, which is basically the board size. That's fine, it is what it is, As I said, breaks up the, playing the same kind of game over and over again. It's funny how I've been playing this game for about an hour and a half, and I haven't even gotten to the main game yet. So, claim these daily rewards, blah, blah, blah. And each event also has its own shop where you can use the currency of this mode to get some things like tickets and what have you. So I've got enough to get a couple of these. I've got 6, so yeah, I'll leave it at that for now. Might do another pull to try and yet again show that, the game doesn't always reward you with the best pull of each section, so you can do the story. Story 1 is available then, usually it's story 1 and then you beat all the missions for that story to unlock the second part, story mode 2. Good thing is some of the missions can be replayed for like extra experience and stuff. You'll see that this recycling sign means you can replay this level if you want to for like bonus rewards and stuff. And in a lot of these events, some Nikkes will increase the probability of getting bonus rewards more. So as you can see, I could just have 2 of these to increase the bonus reward chance to 100%, but it only goes up to 100, of course. And then use the others in your team to, carefully. There's also a hard mode, but they're usually unlocked a few days after the regular missions are available. So as I said, there's usually challenge modes in these bonus these events as well. Okay, so actually now's not a bad opportunity to actually get into the main game. The standard form of combat in this game, the standard mode. How the game actually looks, because it looks surprisingly close to how it's advertised on YouTube and stuff like that. It's a sort of static, cover-based third-person shooter. So these challenges are usually against these bosses, which are kind of cool. Gravedigger. You'll notice my mouse isn't moving much, but that's because I'm not actually playing technically. I am letting the game do it for me, because a lot of these kind of gacha games have the option to let the computer do the work for you, so I mean, why play the game when you could just watch it, I may just try and play it manually, you know, actually play the game myself just to get a general gist of, like, you know, how it's played, because I do know one or two things I haven't done or don't usually do when playing the game, like activate the right burst skill, for example. But this is basically the gameplay in general, just you have your team of 5 Nikkes, you switch between them, you use your mouse or on a touchscreen device to that to aim at the targets, shoot the enemies on the other side, the raptures, until they're all gone, or you defeat the boss. Well, usually it is when you defeat the boss, like here. Defeat the boss, you beat the level. There are variations to this kind of, I get quite a few more words there. You only get 1 ticket per challenge, so 1 challenge ticket per day. So that's a quick snippet of the game. I'll go a bit more into that. I could go to the shop. Maybe there isn't a way of maybe there is a way of instantly warping to the option, but it doesn't seem like it. Maybe I'm being stupid. Doopy-doo, get some tea bags, although more of a coffee guide, TBH, also known as, to be honest. So yeah, whilst I'm at the shop again, as said, like, yeah, you have your own exclusive currency, which you use to exchange. You had to have enough for the more tickets, what have you. Who cares? So, some event stories do have full voice acting like this one, others don't. Like the one about the airport and learning to fly stuff, Over the Horizon event, didn't have any voice acting at all, so, but this one does, so, well, assuming that I didn't delete all of the Japanese voices. You can only do like 5 per day unless you like buy some more from the shop using the free currency, so yeah, some of the missions do vary. Most of the time though, it is just your team, switch between them, shooting the enemies on the screen until they die, and doing this enough times until the boss appears. You then shoot the boss down and you win. That's like, I'd say about 80% of the time, really, what you're doing. You're just kind of playing Duck Hunt, but with aliens instead of ducks. Yeah, so sometimes it just ends so quickly because you're over-leveled, like in this particular mission. She usually has a voice, but as I said, I'm gonna have to, you know, re-download it annoyingly. Ugh. So your character doesn't have a voice, just kind of a... So yeah, a bit of a spoiler for those who haven't really got to this point of the event, but as I said, the event ends in like 4 days, so who cares really? So that's the gist of the bonus event. This in this particular time is a haunted ghost fairy. Some of the Nikkes joined up to try and see what's going on. As I said, you can you leave it on automatic so it scrolls through for you, but then I do find that some of these cutscenes do drag maybe a bit too long. They kind of meander a little bit, in my opinion. Like, they over-explain stuff, like, but maybe too much. And it doesn't help that some of these cutscenes are just like this. They kind of have the characters kind of just standing there in their pose. They may animate every now and then, you know, use one of their animations, but most of the time they're just kind of standing there, their lips flapping to the, you know, to match the audio, and not much else. Like, the camera may pan as well or shake when there's an earthquake or something, but if you're looking for cinematic cutscenes and dramatic animations, or, you know, maybe I got those words the wrong way around, but whatever, then yeah, this is probably not the game for you. I guess you could compare it to like Pretty Derby, which I streamed a couple weeks ago, and at least that game did have 3D models and, you know, had some pretty dramatic animations, you know, with racing and that. and expressive character models and stuff. And this characters do have facial expressions and stuff, and you know they do. Well, they're kind of moving. They're kind of swaying from left to right, and as you can see, some of the physics are. I don't know, a little bit unrealistic, but hey, this is not a real game. This is not real life, so you know, whatever. Yeah, get used to seeing cutscenes more like this, where characters will just kind of just talk to each other for quite a long time, and maybe a bit more than they need to. In the same spot, with the camera occasionally panning left and right. Once in a Blood Red Moon, you'll get like a different, like you get a drawing, a much more detailed drawing and an illustration of a cutscene. It's kind of annoying when they say stuff like, a landmine exploded and their leg got damaged, but you don't actually get to see that happening. They just kind of tell you, and you hear them scream like, ah, but you're like, oh, you know, or they do like a cool fighting move, you know, like they do a backflip, or they take down a big monster, but you don't actually get to see any of it. It's kind of like they're just standing there just like this, like a visual novel. I get this game is technically free, you could download it and play it up to an extent without paying a single penny, but even so, it's kind of like, you can tell that like with the release schedules and stuff, they kind of rush them out. They go, okay, we got their outfits, we got some nice backgrounds, and put them there, and that's pretty much will do. I mean, I guess the story's across, I guess, but it would have been kind of nice to see a bit more variety in the cutscenes. It does feel a bit static at times, and you know, right now, yeah, it's kind of some characters will change their expressions from sad to angry or surprised or whatever. But it doesn't help that it's just kind of still like just sort of sat or stood there swaying, and as I said, the physics like with the hair and of course the their, shall we say, assets. Not surprised people call this like gooner bait, or you know, like gooner material, because definitely feels that way when playing it. I mean, especially with this event, I mean, as I said, you can skip them if you want to by like, you know, that corner there. And I guess it's okay to skip if it's like a sort of optional sort of side quest event like this. But yes, yep, still going. Kind of be neat if there was like a speed up option instead, so you could still get the story, but it's much snappier and, you know, or like an abridged version. But yeah. Like what's also kind of weird though is like when you're playing the like stories like this, which aren't really about raptures at all, they're about these hologram ghosts. Oh, spoiler, they're not ghosts, they're holograms. Yeah, you still end up fighting raptures in this like, well, the setting is appropriate when you're playing like the shooting aspect of the game, but you're still fighting raptures instead of the hologram ghosts or any more appropriate enemies. Even though in this event they're saying stuff like, oh, at least there's no raptures around, could, you know, settle peace and, you know, peace and quiet in this, on this ferry without having to worry about raptures, but then you're still fighting raptures is like, in like a beach setting is like, it doesn't quite fit, doesn't quite connect, you know? A bit more consistency, you know? If one character, in this case Dorothy, says, you know, ah, there are no raptures here to fight, and then next you're fighting raptures, is like, what, fuck? Also, it's a bit of a spoiler for me because Rappy doesn't end up in this form until, well, I don't know, because I'm still at the point in the campaign where she has her regular sort of pink hair, and apparently in this version of Rappy is like a upgraded version, or it's like super powered version. I guess she's like a Super Saiyan version of, you know, what Super Saiyan is to Goku. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe I'm just a bit tired. This is basically a super powered version of Rappy, which I haven't, you know, gotten to that point in the main campaign, so a bit of a spoiler for me. Whoops. And here's a leg. The one I got. After ranting about the gacha probabilities being kind of against me, against everyone really. So yeah, I think you get the idea of like how long these cutscenes can last unless you skip it or, you know, click, you know, aggressively through all the dialogue. I do try to pay attention to some of this dialogue and stuff, but it just goes on a little bit too long at times, like so I don't think I've missed anything too important because I already know that they're going through the ferry, encountering these ghosts that, you know, specialize in certain departments of the, you know, ferry. One's specialized in DIY, one's specialized in cooking, etc. And I go through each one, trying to, you know, sort them out. Oh, we're back to the student, and as I said, the setting's quite appropriate, but for the most part, you know, it's a sunny sort of tropical setting. Are they still in the boat? It looks like it. But you're fighting raptures still. It's kind of like, doesn't make much sense to me. Would have been cool and more creative if they kind of even just reskin them as ghosts or the holograms or something. So yeah, I probably won't be playing more of that event because I want to show what the campaign looks like. It gives better idea on how the regular game is played. Not a huge difference though. I don't usually skip dialogue. I usually actually kind of wait for them to finish before moving on, leaving it auto. I only really skip it when there's no dialogue, like audio dialogue whatsoever. So this is a rare exception just to, you know, get more to what the game has to offer. In a way, the stream's more like a swan song, really, because in terms of like my experience with this game, because I'm tempted to, you know, kind of just delete it altogether. Some of these games have put me off from going back to mobile gaming because I used to do it quite often when I was younger, like with Simpsons Tapped Out and Family Guy Quest for Stuff, Galaxy of Heroes, that Star Wars game, Mario Kart World Tour, no, which is just called Mario Kart Tour, my mistake. What else? This and Hearthstone, of course, which I've spent, I think, way too much time on and way too much whining about, you know, so I whined way too much about Hearthstone. Still going now, without me, so still, as said, still really surprised I got the best pull in the stream that, you know, I didn't expect to get that pull, you know. Yeah, I'm just gonna skip it. Very rare skip for me though. That said, I almost always stick around to hear everything they say, but I don't know. As I said, the main game is very similar to the events. The events are just there to like give some new players something to do. Doobie-doo. Doobie-dee 53. Righty. Oh right, I forgot to claim a reward for that, whoops. It's only a bunch of core modules. Right, actually, let's actually... Yeah, welcome back thing. Very brief welcome, because as I said, I probably won't stick around to complete it. Campaign, that's the one. So I gave the general gist of the story earlier on in the stream. I'm on chapter 16 out of, I think it's 38 at the moment. I think they add new ones every few weeks or months or so. There's also a hard mode where you can play the same chapters just with more difficult enemies to defeat. But you tend to get better rewards anyway. Annoyingly though, you can't quick battle them. Not that long into the main campaign, you'll gain the option to do quick battles, which is basically skipping a battle as long as you're a high enough power level. So as long as you have a high enough power level, as long as your power level is higher than the enemy itself, you could just choose quick battle. But you can only do that with enemies that have a solid red circle around them. You can't do it with enemies that have like this sort of patterned rotating red circle. You have no choice but to fight them, or just fight them as usual, without the quick battle option. You get the recommended power, and if it's not high enough, it's red, and if it is, it'll be regular or blue or something. You can have different team formations if you want. That's just formations. You got temporary participation, which is those 3 I talked about earlier, you know, the ones with the flags, and they have like a number 3 on them, or 3 out of 3, that shows how many times you could use these temporary Nikkes before you can't use them anymore until the next day. Fill them with power and stuff, so in this case I'm all set, I think. But my power level is not high enough to deal with them, so I'm just going to go into hard mode instead, for now. So considering I'm free to play, I'm getting quite far. Still will need to though do a bit of farming and stuff. Actually, it's probably not worth showing you how to play the game because it's going to be identical to how the computer does it. The computer's just going to be more efficient about it. They're going to be choosing better times to use burst skills, better aim, more responsive. But I guess it's the fact that I'm even just leaving the computer to their devices. I'm not making too much of a big deal out of it myself. Kind of indicates that the game probably is too repetitive and not that engaging enough to make me want to play it. Which is annoying because I actually think this game's not half bad. It's certainly one of the better free-to-play games I've played. And even though I've played a few, I haven't played a humongous amount. So I was willing to give these kind of games a chance, and I did, and I felt like I was playing it not because I enjoyed it, but because it's more of a habit. In the same way that people, you know, eat lots of chocolate, not because they like the taste, but because it's become a habit. You know, something they're used to doing. Yeah, so if it's a high enough power level, it'll be blue and it should be good to go. Although there may be times where it doesn't matter much, you could still participate in the battle and still win even if your power level is a little bit lower than the recommended amount. I said, yeah, I think if there was just a bit more variety, and I think the problem is there's more quantity over quality. Well, that's kind of mean, because it's not like it hasn't got any qualities. It's not like it's not a quality game. It has quality to it. I mean, some of the environments are nice, with the parallax and the 3D models. And there's a system here, you know, with the abilities and the buffs and the equipment, and actually having to shoot with precision aim and stuff, and the right targets at the right moment. There is a game here. It's just, I think they lean towards content over refining the system by adding more variety and stuff, you know, different stuff to do. Instead of changing the main game, they kind of tacked on these arcade mini games and these navigation puzzles, which are probably the best parts of the entire game. Actually, that's one of the best things about the game is the puzzle mode. I think it's called the Vortex or something, Lost Vortex. I'll show that that mode in a moment. I just want to show how the main game is played, which is just this really, just cover shooter where you're shooting targets, duck hunt style, over and over again. I don't think any of the missions have been the variants of the missions. There are a couple of variants, like there's one where you have to stop raptures from going through a barrier, like a sort of safe zone. You got to stop them from crossing and destroying the safe zone. It's basically the same thing, just you have to survive until time runs out. Oh yeah, and every level you're on a timer, so even if you're doing well, but you don't defeat all the enemies and you run out of time, that's it, you just fail. So there's now like a race to defeating all the stuff in this on the screen before time runs out as well. Yeah, as you can see, every time every time the computer anyway completes a stage, this counter goes up. Every 5 ticks, the outpost level increases, which increases the amount of stuff you get from the outpost defense, as shown earlier. Yeah, as you can see, when your team's circle glows yellow, that means there's like a bonus item nearby, and the magnifying glass will show. Click it, and you could get something like this, a song to play in the jukebox, box that jukes and jives. Whatever, I'm talking nonsense. Or it could be gems. It could be one of those lost relic archive entries. So just, yeah, look around the map and see what you can find. Which you can look around at any point, which is kind of neat. But you have to sort of look around for those bonuses. Yeah, a bit under-leveled for this, and well, it's hard mode, what do you expect? Might be a good time to... I got hiccups, great. Bad times to get hiccups during a live stream. Yeah, a little bit under-leveled here, which... Not a bad time to show how upgrading and leveling up works and stuff, so let's do that. I think I've got enough. Do I have enough? Oh yeah, I do. So yeah, when you get enough of these high quality molds, you can use it to get a pull. And I got an SSR again. Which one is it this time? Okay, it's Diesel. One of the Infinity Rail members. Same team as the one Breed is in. Okay, that's kind of neat. Someone new. Quite a lot of time ago you get SRs, but that's another pleasant surprise. So as said, yeah, you can open these to get some of the new small cases, which I do now. And so to level up my team to be strong enough, I need to level up the squad members that aren't in the synchro device, which is right. I might as well just select them all. No. So that's my usual team. I'll just get only the team members that aren't in my these ones. And level them up accordingly. So clicking the information tab thing. I think it's a good idea to level up Red Hood's because she's got pretty strong abilities and stuff and could deal an insane amount of damage. So it's worth doing that. She also is missing some voice lines because I have to reinstall the lines and stuff. I'm not sure how much time I have to do that. So who is... Yeah, if I just level up the others to 131, that should boost everyone else's level to 131 due to the synchro device system. I'll do that now, but how much do I have? Okay, I might have enough to do it without needing to open some cases. And her. Volume is a pretty awful character, like in terms of personality. Not very likable, but she's quite a high tier character from what I understand, and also her English is always so charming to listen to. So yeah, there's that, I suppose. The amount of times she says, "I'm coming." It's like, ugh. Can you stop? Don't think I can level up any of the other abilities anymore. Not for the... Yeah, so the good time to show off how cases work. So, well, I've showed them earlier, but to actually put them into practice. So, there's an annoying thing where when you get to like every 10 levels, you have to have core dusts, and the amount of core dusts you need can be freaking ridiculous. So, I haven't had to do it this time though. Maybe it's every 20 levels. I can't remember. It tells you how much you need to upgrade. Turns out I need, let's see, so I'd say 110 and wow, I've, those, battle data sets went, away pretty quickly. I had loads of them earlier, today, so let's see, I assume the others require a similar amount of, resources to level up, yeah, I think. Yeah, so if I just get 110 and then 200 and another 200, that should be alright for that. So it was credits, wasn't it? So get 12 hours worth of credits if I do it there, or 8 hours from there. Do I have? Oh yeah, I've got lower. Okay, see, I get fuck all from the 1 hour ones because that's 1 hour's worth of credits. Equivalent to 1 hour of credits from the outpost defense, so I'll use them up there, I've got plenty. 510. Let's go for that. Can't remember though how many of those data sets I need. A fuck ton, shit in hell. So like 1,800, I'd say about 1,800 maybe? Yeah, for each. 1,800, then another 2,000, and then another 2,000, so... Is it 2,000? Yeah. So... I'll do that. I'll just use the 1 hour one again. So wait till I get to, what was it, 5,800 or something? That should be enough. Don't want to use too many, I might need them for later. And my outpost is high level. Fingers crossed I did maths right. No problemo. Fair play, bro. Yeah, she doesn't have any voice lines because they haven't been downloaded. So now all of the Nikkes now should be 132, which may not be enough still, but worst case scenario, I have to rely on the temporary members to do some of the heavy lifting. Also worth noting, whilst a lot of the characters are sort of like based on like young adult women, some characters are clearly like based on like, because they're not humans, they're cyborgs, but their brains are those of like previous humans, you know, humans that used to be alive. And what was I gonna do? Oh yeah, just replace some of these members with someone else. Yeah, when you click on some of these, these members, they're supposed to say stuff, but I said some of the lines been deleted because of what I stupidly did earlier. Still not high enough though, so I guess I will have to rely on at least the superior version. There we go. Just to get through that hurdle. That's probably what that's probably what I should have done before. Is use these temporary recruits to get through some of these bumps. So it gives me like allows me to plow through some of these stages more easily. That should be enough. Yep. And the cutscenes play out quite similarly to what was shown in the event, really. Auto, so bit of a spoiler for those who haven't got this far yet. This is chapter 16 still, nearly end of chapter 16. I think the problem with the story though is that at the beginning of this game, like the prologue and stuff, it sets up like, you know, you get along with one of the members and something happens to them, you gotta save them, and I think it's about 14 or 15, chapter 14 or 15. You get to the conclusion of that mission, and I said, from here, where I am now, level 16, sorry, chapter 16 onwards, it was kind of like, yeah, it kind of feels like it's a little bit like anime filler in a way. There's still like a overall mission of, you know, stopping the raptures, and some of them called like the, what are they called? Not the, there's the pilgrims, which are like the Nikkes that go on the surface and protect humanity and stop the raptures. And then there's like the heretics. Basically Nikkes that have rebelled and joined the raptures. And some of these Nikkes get corrupted over time, and they have to either be completely reset or, you know, just destroyed or something for parts. I haven't covered the arc yet. That has a bunch of fun little modes and bonus options, so... And whilst the character models are good overall, some of the styles are a little bit inconsistent for me. Some characters like Crow, for example, this character, she looks more like she belongs in a Chinese anime, whilst some characters clearly look more like a sort of like they belong in Dragon Ball or something, like a Japanese anime instead. I mean, this was developed and published by like a Chinese company, so makes sense that some of these characters look anime but have this more sort of almost like watercolor detail and shading and stuff. The use of shading as well is a bit different from what you expect from a typical anime character. Maybe that's just me. As said though, all these characters have interesting designs, a range of different, you know, anatomical features and hairstyles and outfits, what have you. And they're not all devoid of personality. A lot of them have a distinct personality. They're either like confident or introverted, or they have one specific trait, like for example Breddy's all about eating lots of food and the taste of things. Folkwang is about, you know, constantly sweating a lot, being a bit on the dipsy side. Rappy, who's the serious one, who takes her job seriously and is the most soldier-like of the bunch, from what I've seen. Except for maybe Delta, she's like the soldier of the game. But yeah, the story itself is alright, but yeah, as I said earlier, like the quick battles you could do if your power level's high enough and it's an enemy with a much more basic circle below them compared to the ones on the right, which have to be fought by a start battle instead of quick battle. Would have been nice to have a quick battle feature, you know, the option early in the game instead of having to play a few chapters just to do so. So yeah, once this flag tally reaches 0 out of 3, that's it. I can't use her in my team anymore until the next day, real life day. So I find that the cutscenes in the story are briefer and not as meandering as the ones in the event, which is something. But as you can see, the cutscenes are pretty much the same as well. They're kind of just standing there, posing, and occasionally changing their facial expressions. It was much more barren when there's no voice acting at all. It's cool though that you could choose from like English or Japanese or Korean if you want to, or remove them entirely if you're not a fan of the voice acting. Quite a few familiar faces though in the English dub, like Kira Buckland, who plays 2B, who's also in this game. Let me think, there's quite a few at the top of my head. Tara Sands, who did the voice of Bulbasaur in the Pokemon anime. She's in this. I didn't expect her to be in this. Yeah. I think Ryan Bartley is in this too, the voice of Sage, Sonic Frontiers, and she also voiced she also did the voice of Ray from, is it Ray? Ray from Evangelion. And no Laura, there's Laura, you know, big voice actors like Laura Bailey and that aren't in this game though. Handful I recognize though, so yeah. I think maybe Erica, what's her last name? I can't remember what her last name is. There's a handful though. I stick to Japanese though because I don't know, it just feels closer and more authentic to, like, you know, just feels more authentic. I can't really explain it. I guess there's a bit more of a sincerity when Japanese voice actors perform for like an anime or video game like this, compared to like English, where sometimes it sounds a bit, maybe a bit over dramatic and a bit goofy at times. I mean, don't get me wrong, these voice actors do a much better job than a lot of people ever will, but I guess it's the tone of the voice really that matters. And I think the Japanese just, in a lot of Japanese anime, like the Japanese voices are more sincere and get more emotionally invested into the role, even though I don't understand a word they're saying. Just from the sound, the way the lines are delivered compared to like English dubs, you know. Some English dubs though are as good, if arguably better, than the English version, the Japanese version. One of the few anime that I do watch mostly in English is Dragon Ball Z and the other Dragon Ball shows. Those dubs tend to be pretty good and iconic as well. Same goes for like One Punch Man. I think I tend to watch like usually I watch animes. It's like one of those Japanese animes. I tend to watch comedies in English because then I understand the jokes better and stuff, even if some of them are written differently. But most other Japanese shows and like anime, I tend to watch them in Japanese. So just because it feels more natural to watch them in the Japanese language, even though I don't understand what they're saying and I have to rely on reading the subtitles and stuff. Paying less attention to the animation, unfortunately, as a result. Because you're kind of distracted by this. It's like that meme picture on, like, you know, social media where it's like, the meme is like, she's a woman with, you know, this well-endowed woman, and, you know, where her chest is, it says like Japanese, like subtitles, and you know what I mean. Like a picture of a woman and her face has a text that says like Japanese anime, and then her chest is like, in the chest area it says like subtitles. I don't know, well, maybe it's the other way around, I don't know. It's the, you know, those kind of memes from like the early 2000s, you know what I mean. Not explaining it very well. I really am tired. I'll use this member to... Maybe, I don't know, still under-leveled. Yeah, I'll do this anyway. It's not like a 50-50 chance or anything, it's guaranteed as long as you have a high enough power level. And yeah, there's not much else to the game really apart from what I'm showing right now. It's just kind of exploring the map, finding some secrets like songs and stuff, watching some cutscenes like this, which, as said, don't really vary too much. You will occasionally get like a much more detailed picture or animation, but most of the time it is just like a visual novel aesthetic, which is fine if it's not a very long game, but it took many hours just to get to this point in the story, so... So what I might do to for the remainder of this stream is go through some of the other more interesting modes. In my opinion anyway. Well, one in particular, which I mentioned earlier, the Lost Vortex, I think it's called. Okie dokie, big and a pokey. Just, yeah, I think I'll just do that after this, yeah, sorry if the frame rate drops a little bit, I'm just kind of clicking between screens. I'm still using one monitor, which is not the most efficient way of doing this kind of content. Quote unquote content. Probably should have picked something a bit more interesting to talk about already. You know, because if you can't tell by like the tone of my voice and going back to this game, it's a bit like going back to a game that I'm no longer that invested in. As said, it's certainly one of the better free-to-play games I've played, but I haven't played that many, and it's fun while it lasted, but I think it's overstayed its welcome from me anyway. I'm perfectly fine, you know, after this, kind of just deleting the game and not really looking back, unless something drastic changes, like they completely redo the... I'll just do a couple more of these. Oh, yeah, I'll just do a couple more of these quick battles. Just so I can... There we go, I think I'll leave it at that. Get some gems for every time it levels up. Yeah, there's not really much of a drive to continue, really. As I've said before, it's just a case of, you know, a lot of stuff to do, but it doesn't really matter if the stuff you're doing is the same kind of repetitive levels with not much variation, and even the stuff that does change things up doesn't quite compensate enough for the main bulk of what you're doing. If that makes sense. I said I'm maybe a tad bit too tired for this. Quite warm day today, and I had to do this thing called exercise. Oh my god! Overweight 30-something-year-old bloke doing exercise? What? Crazy. Yeah, I think that's enough for this mode. I think I made my point about, like, you know, what it's like, generally speaking. Now let's get on to probably one of the couple other things that's worth, you know, talking about. The things I think the game doesn't really tell you much about, which is like going to these rankings to claim some of these more of these cases. Apologies for the cough. I should really be muting myself when it happens. Lost Sector, yeah. Kept calling it Lost Vortex. What was I thinking? Handful of other things. There's this tower mode where you go up this long chain of missions, which is, yeah, again, more of the stuff you've been doing before. You know, you're just kind of clearing all these waves of raptures to get rewards. There's one that, you know, you can use any member of the team, any members you want, but then there are those that are separated by, you know, factions. So you can only use Nikke's of the Lycian faction, you can use Tetra Nikke's for this one, etc. This is the only, as far as I know, this is the only place where you can get faction-specific molds, so you can get a Nikke of a specific faction instead of from the humongous pool there already is. Simulation room, pretty much just that really. Simulates some encounters with raptures without actually finding them, well, for the most part. This is a good way to get code manuals. Might just do a little bit of it just to show you what that kind of feels like. So pick the last one of this one because my team's about 60,000 power level, so sounds about right. So yeah, you pick a buff, you pick one, and It doesn't give you the buff right away. You have to defeat the enemy, the team, to defeat the raptures and clear the wave before you can get it. Good thing is quite a few of these are quick battles as well, so you can go straight to the reward. So yeah, again, these rewards are based on rarity, like rare, super rares, super rares, super duper ultra megas. No, not really. There's also like a synergy system where, you know, they're divided by shape, but it's not very good there. So the buff I got was a triangle. You get better buffs if they're also triangle, if the others are triangles or something like that. I don't really understand it myself, to be honest. Yeah, so it's like that for a few rounds. You know, you defeat a wave of enemies, you get a buff, you get to pick another buff, keep doing this until you get to the boss at the end. So that's pretty much that. As I said, good way to get code manual so you can upgrade your Nikke's skills. Next I'll talk about is Interception, which is just like that challenge mode I showed earlier in that event map, where you try to get as far into the boss's health bar as possible. You know, you try to deal as much damage to the boss as possible. These tend to have a lot of health and stuff, so chances are you won't be able to defeat them first time round. You need a pretty good team to knock them out. So this is also Gravedigger. They do occasionally reuse bosses like this one, and there's one called Modernia, which is like a giant Gundam. You get more rewards based on how much you've damaged the boss. You could theoretically defeat the boss, but instead you need a good team for that. But you still get reward even if you don't defeat the boss. You just get a reward based on this sort of tier system where, you know, which increases as you do more damage to the big bad boss. So even though I haven't reached the 160 level cap that people say is the brick wall of the game, where, you know, it's almost impossible to get through without a lot of patience and resources, time and stuff, I'm already feeling the slowdown in the grind at level 130, so I have seen like clips of people playing for like a whole year and showing them with the best team and stuff like that, so, and like some of the best builds, so it's possible. You could do this interception 3 times in a day. There's one I haven't unlocked yet because you have to defeat the boss. A lot of these require you to play through the campaign to a certain, you know, to a certain point to unlock, and same goes for this one. There's that. Arena, it's like a PvP mode or PvE mode, you know, one or the other. Fighting against real people's teams and setups and getting rewards. Well, increasing your ranking in the Rookie Arena leaderboards. And how will you do at the end of it? You'll get a reward depending on your ranking. Getting the currency you need to spend at the arena shop. Oh cool, I can get more of these. Not like I'll care much after this. As I said, I'm very I'm very certain that after this stream I'll be giving up on this game forever, because I think I've experienced everything it has to offer, and not much else to stick around for. So this also is a mode where quick battle isn't available at the start. You have to unlock that skip, so yeah. You can re-roll the opponents you get matched with as many times as you want, as far as I know. Just change the team with stats. Oh, I thought my team's level was higher than that. Oh, never mind. Yeah, there's not much else to say about that mode, really. There's special, which actually gives you some sort of reward, similar to the Outpost Defense, but for this mode in particular. and doing so gives you the currency for the arena shop and these arena points, which I guess just determines your ranking in the this particular section of the arena. The main difference though is the teams. Each match is divided into 3 rounds. Each match has 3 rounds. And you've got to come up with a unique team for each one. So you can't reuse the same team members in each round. You have to choose different ones in every team. And it's best of 3 really, and if you win, great, your rank increases, but if you lose then it may go down. Or it might just be like nothing changes ranking wise. Champion Arena, not really too familiar with this mode. It's divided into stages, and you could cheer on one side to win, and if your team wins, if the team you're cheering on wins, you get a reward or something. I don't know much about that mode, I haven't really participated in it, so I think that's for the best of the best. And so I might conclude with showing you the best mode of the entire game really, the Lost Sector. It's a collection of little sort of puzzles, where you explore like this weird dimension, solving puzzles by using robots and stuff. Is pretty cool. You gotta unlock them by beating bosses and fulfilling the conditions, so I've beaten section 9, but I need to beat the hard mode boss, so this means that a lot of these will take a while to unlock. Just as an example though, I'm just going to see. I guess I could reset the progress just to show what it looks like, so that, because yeah, whatever, I'll just do let's say 3. No, yeah, yes, no, maybe so. Oh Christ, dang. So everything's been solved already, because the main objective is to get to this golden chest to get the final reward. You don't need to find the good thing is you don't need to find all the white chests to complete a level, although you won't get the super bonus for exploring 100% of the map. So it consists of pressing buttons, going through these sort of teleporters, or elevators, wherever they are, switching buttons to open gates, and using robots to help you out. In fact, I'll go to a different level to show you what the using the robots is like. I think, it's a little bit later on. So yeah, at one point, well, they introduce robots, and these robots do different things. They can smash rocks like this one can. Yeah, I've completed all the other ones that I can at the moment. There's a flying robot which allows you to pick up some boxes and use them to activate switches. Sometimes you have to switch between both characters, you know, your team and the robots to some are just used for, you know, activating buttons by standing on a spot for a few seconds. But the main objective of these are just to complete these little puzzles. Got me to use my brain a couple of times and collect these for rewards. And, you know, defeating all these enemies that are blocking your path. Defeating the enemies that are pretty much the same as before. Might reset one of the stages just to see what it looks like with enemies on the screen. So yeah, I've claimed these rewards already, but if you explore 100% of the map by opening all the white boxes and the green gold boxes, well, the one gold box that there is in each level, you'll get like a few gems, so it's worth exploring and finding and opening every single chest in each stage. You build your team. Piece of piss because of how high leveled my team is compared to all the enemies in this stage. This is stage 1. Get these helpful little tips on how to, or just helpful little tips really on how to play the level. Some of these are quick battles as well, but you get the obligatory regular encounter. As said, as levels go on, as you go further into this mode, puzzles become more complicated. You get more NPCs, you get more characters to control. Like there's robots, you know, the smashing robot and the one that flies through spikes and obstacles. One that like hacks the device to open a gate. But the main objective is to go through those, defeat some of these raptures along the way, open all the boxes, and get all the gems for exploring everything. It's a shame, as said, like some of these are locked behind completing some of the pretty difficult encounters unless you have a really good team on you. So yeah, activate switches to open gates to get progress. And you'll be switching between like your team and the robots that you know encounter along the way. Because the maps in the campaign, the puzzles aren't really that complicated for the most part. There'll be times where you flick a switch and you go round and stuff and you have to go another way or something, but that's quite rare. If you want that kind of sort of blend of puzzle and exploration, then Lost Sector is definitely the mode to pick. Pity quite a lot of them will be locked for a while until you actually get, you know, to experience the, as I said, one of the more interesting modes of the entire game. And this is the kind of fight where you have to stop these Nikkes from crossing this line into the safe area, wherever it's protected area, until the time runs out at the top right of the screen. Other than that, you're pretty much doing the same thing really, you're just taking out waves of enemies until you win. Kinda surprised though that you know, that some of them are actually managing to cross the area, because my team's not exactly weak compared to the forces I'm dealing with. Well, I know the computer's technically doing it, but still. Smoke out. I quite like the music in this game though, because there's a not bad variety of like electronic music. You know, you've got future house, you got, you know, sort of a trance, you got, you know, like drum and bass and stuff like that. You got a nice little range there. With a bit of orchestral stuff here and there as well, like in more cinematic moments. Sound design's not bad too. Some of the guns feel pretty weighty and cool, like the shotguns and you know, like Red Hood's shotgun is pretty cool and powerful. Screen shaking as well gives them a bit more weight as well. And also like just simple things like the reverb in this level as well, and yeah, you know, the sort of futuristic sound effects of some of the weapons, like the sniper rifle, like Red Hood's for example. Pretty cool. I think the ones that don't have quite a lot of weight are the sort of machine gun based weapons, but that's because, well, they're not as way too powerful as shotguns really. They're more about, you know, emptying the ammunition, so that makes sense. So yeah, this was just the first Lost Sector, so yeah. Just wanted to show what it looked like with raptures rather than just being completely empty. So the point of beating these sectors is to also unlock the cubes, which is like another equipable item for your Nikkes to gain skills and buffs and stuff. another sort of mechanic they thrown in there. So as far as I know, that's all the modes and stuff in the arc. And that's the story. I can't think of what else I can cover that I haven't covered already. I could access the outpost from the main menu if I wanted to. And yeah, before I go, I'm just going to maybe go through all these battle passes. So many different battle passes and stuff. Gets a bit overwhelming at times. Nice to end my possibly last session with this game on a high note with getting that Leg, you know, summer version and Diesel. That's good. They're both cool additions to the Nikke crew. My Nikke crew. I'm not one of those people that deletes. I don't tend to delete my accounts for games I'm not playing anymore, or not interested in anymore, because you know, I've learned before, like, you know, never say never. You know, I've talked about Hearthstone, and I played it and I'll never play it again, but then I returned to it, and I haven't played it since though, but who knows, maybe I'll change my mind. So and the same might be with this. At the moment now, I'm leaning towards, you know, I probably won't go back and play this again. It's not my cup of tea. Well, it's no longer my cup of tea. I've kind of been put off by how repetitive it can be. Before I finish my live review thing, I'm going to just do a couple more pulls. Maybe one more, I don't know. Yeah. Getting quite a lot of hearts, but not enough, still a bit short. And you can't use other currencies to compensate for not having enough hearts. So let's do the Leg one more time. Yeah, I don't mind forking out 600 gems. Okay, this is ending on a pretty high note. I'd laugh again if it was a Leg again. That'd be hilarious. Unlikely though. So yeah, you'll get a lot of rares and super rares. No, I was gonna say. Okay, Julia, not on my list, but okay. Alright. And the rest is Nikke's you'll never really use in your team from now on. Well, I won't be. Certainly not anymore, because I said I'm kind of going to stop. Well, I said though, thinking about it, if I don't intend to return to this game, I might as well just, you know, use the remainder of my gems to wrong button, sorry, didn't mean to do that. Yeah, not ending it just yet, just got a couple more things to do. So yeah, oh fuck it, might as well. As I said, I don't have much intention to return, so right, let's do that then. Yeah, they know what footage to use to entice you to all the, you know, the best SSRs. Huh. I'll have enough to pull 20 more, so let's have a look, see. Yeah, okay, that's quite a few SRs, but doesn't really matter because I already have all of them. So, can't hate Anna, so she's a good Nikke. Not in terms of, like, you know, strength, but personality. Don't know who Balorta is. Yeah, so I'm gonna just try one more of these, and then that will be that. Know when to stop. Be gamble aware. Even if I'm not spending any real world money, I'm just using the free currency I've stockpiled for the last, well, today, really, because I've got a lot of these kind of gems in that just for returning as like a welcome back. That welcome back thing, yeah, that's what it's about. Let's go for the Dorothy one, even though I'm not a huge fan of Dorothy compared to everyone else. So yeah, fuck it. Yeah, as said, this is most of the time you're, you know, this is most of your gacha experience, just getting a bunch of rares and super rares. As said, Miyahara's fine. No problems with Miyahara though. But even so, yeah, as said, it's kind of intentional designs, really, of their rares to make them look much blander, less revealing, to just make some of the high rarity Nikke's just that much more special and appealing. Yeah, see that all the brown color scheme, hardly any skin revealed, and you don't even get to see her eyes. Compared to, like, you know, that leg one and even like the super rares like Mihara. In hindsight, probably should have done 2 from the same one so I could get that maintenance kit, whereas oh well. I don't have enough to get 10 at a time, and unfortunately there's no option to recruit a range between 1 and 10. It has to be 1 or 10, so I still don't have enough to get anything decent from the mileage shop though. Some of this require a lot of gacha pulls. Not bad if you're excessive about it, or like, you know, you're what some industries will colloquially call whales, which is a rather dehumanizing term for those kind of, you know, players. Yeah, fuck it, I'll just do just a few more then on the free gems. Let's try some different. Let's try Rosanna, whoever that is. Just an epic, and it's Mihara again. Yeah, get used to that. Good they say, are you sure you want to do that? Because, you know, if you paid for gems and now you change your mind, it's like, okay, at least it's there. Just tell me, you know, you know, as a warning, in case you change your mind. I said I wouldn't mind if the rare and super rare pools were bigger, so that, you know, you're not getting the same 4 or 5 characters over and over and over again. Okay, this time it is a SSR. Anyone decent? Okay, that's the superior version of Mihara, that's something. And with a rather different outfits to match, so that's certainly a more special appearance. Yeah, like the mascot for the whole dominatrix thing fits her character though too. She is a bit of a, well, that's one of her powers or something, isn't it? Like she makes people feel pain that someone else feels or something. I don't know, something like that. It's explaining the story. It's lore. It's lore. It relates to her character. Makes sense. Yeah, it's kind of disappointing when you just get a rare Nikke that you can't really use because they're so underpowered compared to the higher rarities. I said no, ending on a pretty high note compared to like what I was expecting. I was expecting to get no SSRs whatsoever, so yeah, not enough gems. It tells you to go to the gem shop to redeem some more. So yeah, much better than I expected, but as said, not really mattering anymore because I don't really intend to come back anytime soon. Quite adamant about, you know, just either taking a really long hiatus from it and then coming back in maybe a few months' time, like I did with Hearthstone, or just giving up entirely. I don't know. I could definitely imagine this taking up too much of my time that I could be using, like catching up with some shows or playing video games that, you know, I don't know what the right terminology would be to use, you know. After all, this was supposed to be like sort of a summary of my feelings about this game, and thought I'd give it a shot, and it's not a bad game, it's just not for me. That's a pretty common pattern with these kind of mobile games. They just have this structure and format which doesn't really appeal to me. Just feels more like a second job. Certainly after the, you know, playing this game for, you know, a while. Not a long while, I said it's only been like, what, a month or two? So it's not like I've invested my entire life in this game or anything like that. But, yeah, this was just more like a live review and summary analysis thing of how the game is, how it feels, what I feel about it, and how I feel. And it's rather mixed feelings. On one hand, as said, the gameplay itself is not too bad. On the other hand, it can get pretty monotonous with the types of enemies you face, the structure of the levels, and even sometimes the context, like as said with the event, the Boom the Ghost event. Why are you fighting raptures in a place where, according to Dorothy, there's no raptures? That doesn't really make any sense. Presentation is fine actually. I do like some of these animations. I just kind of wish there was more of them. Most of the time you're just looking at these idle standing animations, camera pans occasionally, and screen shakes if there's an earthquake, and no real opportunity to watch any of the cool action take place. Like if a cool character is taking down a cool monster, the text tells you that and the characters will gasp in like, oh my god, and stuff like that, but never actually get to see it. Wasted opportunities there. I think quite a few wasted opportunities to show the cool stuff happening. I think the problem is this game is now the people responsible for the game focusing too much on consistently pushing out as much content as possible rather than enhancing and revolutionizing the game itself. Like, you know, maybe add a bit more variety to the enemy designs and types of missions. Instead, they're kind of just throwing in all these mini games and other, you know, stuff on top of it instead, which is not bad for like breaking up every now and then, but I don't think it's quite enough. The game has made quite a lot of money from what I've seen, and still doing quite well. I think they attended that Anime Fest thing in America, Anime Con or something. Anime Fest, Anifest, whatever it's called. So it's not like it's doing badly. It's they're clearly doing something right. They're still making a decent amount of money and still got a fan base, but you know, it's got to be quite a specific fan base, and I don't think I fit into that fan base, unfortunately. It's got some qualities I like. I like a bit of fan service, you know, attractive women kicking ass with guns and shooting aliens. What's not to like about that concept? Unless, you know, you don't, obviously, but you know, I do. It's been done before and stuff with like, you know, God Eater and, as said, like Nier Automata. So, and it's done okay in that regard, like in the concept and story and stuff, but nothing's really motivated me to keep on going. It just feels like a almost endless cycle of the same things over and over again. I wouldn't mind if this game was shorter, but 38 chapters and all these modes and features and stuff, it's a bit overwhelming, and it feels like there's no real end in sight. It's kind of the same feelings I have with pretty much every mobile game now. Like with Pretty Derby, even though I only played that for 4 hours, I already felt like it was you know, dragging a bit. Same with like Mario Kart Tour, fun for a few hours, but then it's like, alright, it's more of the same thing. And also I could be playing Mario Kart 8 instead, which I already have quite a lot. Yeah, I'm kind of waffling on about a bit now, so I must be very tired then. So long story short, not a bad game, just not for me. I'd say it was like a 5 or 6 out of 10. I think, as said, if they changed up the enemy variety and, you know, changed up the gameplay a bit more, so it doesn't feel like you're doing the same thing over and over and over again with very slight moderation, you know, alterations, I think I could stick around for longer. than a couple months, but I don't know, I think I've just burned out from it, and I guess in reality this was both a review and sort of me signing off from Nikke, because yeah, it was fun while it lasted, but it just no longer became fun. The people who will have most fun with this game are definitely those that are willing to spend hundreds of pounds to get the waifu they have on their wish lists. Also kind of annoying that we haven't and probably will never get the superior Chinese version, New Hope, whatever it's called, which is from what I've heard is better than this version in terms of quality of life improvements and features and even loading screens and stuff, or the lack of loading in comparison. So yeah, I am going to retire from this game for at least a while, you know, or at most forever. As I said, it had its fun moments, but then they kind of died out after a little while. So if you like this game and you're still playing this game, that's perfectly great. That's cool. I just won't be one of those people that will be sticking around to find out what happens to the counters, and you know, if they do eventually save the world and stuff. I don't know. It's a bit like with One Piece, you know, the anime, where it's been around for so long, like there's thousands of episodes at least, and you know, it's going to take an eternity to catch up at this point, and it's going to take up so much of your time with little to no ending, with no ending in sight really. It just feels like you just keep on going and going and going. And some people just prefer to have endings, and this one's not giving me much of an ending, and doesn't feel like that's much of an end goal for me. That's why I quite like single player games like Skyrim, and even though there's lots of stuff to do and content in that, and it feels big, at least it has an ending. At least I can play it from start to finish and avoid everything else if I wanted to. I don't think I can with this. I either have to just stop before I get even close to an ending, or just keep going until I, you know, got to that point. But I'm not sure if this is the kind of game that will have an ending. It will just keep going and going and going, unless Chapter 38 is literally the ending to the game, like the little end of the story. But with how much time I'm going to have to spend grinding for experience and leveling up my Nikkes with all these limited resources, I don't think I have. I mean, I have some patience, but not that unrealistic. That amount of patience to me is unrealistic. I don't think I have that much patience to get that far without spending a single penny, and I know if I start spending money, it's going to get out of hand, and yeah. Still got loads of other games I've already bought ages ago and still haven't played. So I'd rather spend that time playing games I've never played that I could be in like 10 to 15 hours each, and get like a shorter but more varied and satisfying story and gameplay experience compared to a game that's kind of repeating itself over and over again with no end in sight. As I said, put simply, it feels like a second job, these kind of mobile games. And you play these games to escape from that kind of work mentality. But these games make it hard. These kind of games, these mobile games, make it hard to do so, because it does feel like you're logging in, doing this and that over and over again until you've had enough, and then you do the same again the following day and over again. I play games to have fun, and this one was enjoyable at first, but then just kind of stopped being fun. As said, I don't really like giving scores for these kind of style videos, which I don't do very often. But if I did give a score to this game, as I said, it'll be about 5-6 out of 10. So, alright, just has its flaws. I may have not covered some things about this game. I'm pretty certain though I've covered most of it. And yeah, let's actually get back to playing games that I actually want to keep playing, which is Doom Eternal. I think I'm near the end of part 1 of Ancient Gods, and I'll be continuing that DLC tomorrow at about 8 PM. and I'll be continuing to play the DLC of Doom Eternal until I've beaten both parts. So yeah, every Sunday at 8 PM until I finish Doom Eternal. As for Saturdays though, I'm not sure whether I will stream on Saturdays. If I do, it will be like a variety of different things, maybe. There's one game though I've teased before, but I haven't got around to starting. I would like to start that though at some point. Maybe next week, maybe the following week, who knows. Thanks to all those that watched, even if it's for like a few seconds. I've always said before, and I'll say again, I don't expect people to watch whole streams or anything like that. It's just a fun pastime really at the moment. It probably always will be. And that's fine. Gives me more of a drive to play the games and work up my vocal cords a bit more, because I don't really talk that often, so outside of work and that, so yeah. So yeah. This may be goodbye for now, Nikke. Maybe forever? Who knows? Just have to find out. As I turn off the stream and delete the game and see if I return or not. As I said, most likely I won't be returning. So yeah, another mobile game, not for me. I haven't really found many mobile games that I played to this day, that I started playing a while ago. Every mobile game and freemium game, you know, played, I've always played for a while and then just got bored of and stopped. Hasn't been as much of the case with, like, you know, games that cost like £60 and nothing else. Single player experiences like Deus Ex or Red Dead Redemption. Maybe I should really just stick to single player games, or those kind of, you know, Doom Eternals and Spyro the Dragons and stuff like that. They're certainly more for me. They feel like they have more of a focus compared to this one, in terms of like narrative and, you know, giving the players a wider, more varied experience. And this is not doing it for me. It does feel a bit like busy work at times, and I don't want to get to a point where I'm on it all the time, not because I want to play it, but because I feel like I have to. I don't want to get, as they call, addicted to it. And I feel like there have been times where I've been addicted to this game, and I don't want to get that to continue. Not the worst thing to be addicted to, though, I suppose. You know, this game could be worse. So, there's that. But, yeah, as I said, so many games I haven't played and I want to play. And, I'm giving myself less of a window to do so if I spend time with games like these that were meant to keep you playing. Well, quote unquote playing, I mean. Some say, like, you know, Richie Derby is debatable as to whether they're actually games or not, or just like, you know, more like simulators to get as much money from you as possible, whilst giving you not enough gameplay and stuff to compensate for the money you've spent. Yeah, I'm staying away from mobile games then from now on, I think. Maybe not completely, but I'm certainly gonna try my best to stay away from them and focus on games like Doom Eternal, Spyro the Dragon, A Hat in Time. Yeah, that's the game I'm thinking of playing. Maybe next week on Saturday. Maybe the following week. I'll see how I feel. Got a couple of other ideas for streams, but I don't know. They're probably not gonna be that not gonna be worth doing, I think. Just keep those views to myself, really. I think some people will be sick of me talking about mobile games and how they're not my cup of tea. Sometimes you can do that before they go, yeah, I've had enough of that. So yeah, from now on, most likely gonna be just playing games on stream instead of like tier lists and all that bullshit. I'll maybe do one every now and then, but yeah, I think I'll just return to just playing the games on stream. They tend to do better than me just whining all the time. So yeah, Hat in Time, maybe next. Maybe a couple of other games here and there. And The Witcher 3 as well. I mean, The Witcher 4 is coming out, and Witcher 3 is pretty cool. And I do like an RPG here and there, so might play that in the future as well. Guess it depends on, like, you know, how long it takes me to beat the rest of Doom Eternals and its DLC, so yeah, I think that will be that from me. So yeah, tomorrow I said Doom Eternal, Ancient Gods Part 1. Well, fingers crossed the end of Ancient Gods Part 1 tomorrow at 8. The reason why I started the stream at 9 this time was simply because I said, like, you know, the day resets at 9 o'clock for Nikke. So it resets, you know, moves on to the next day, resets, you know, the rewards you get and stuff. If you know what I mean. I don't even know what I mean. Yeah, so as said, thanks, and that's it from me for now. Goodbye.